The death of Jesus, John 19. After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said, I thirst. A jar full of sour wine stood there, so they put a sponge full of the sour wine on a hyssop branch and held it to his mouth. When Alan asked me to talk about one of the seven phrases that Jesus said on the cross, this is the one that I would have chosen. I thirst. I purposely avoided looking up any theological commentary related to John chapter 19, verse 28, where Jesus says, I thirst. I did read the other gospel accounts, but only John gives this utterance to Jesus on the cross. I did purposely look up what happens to the physical body of someone who might be, as we say, quote, quote, dying of thirst. It's a phrase we've all used, but none of us has likely experienced. Sure, we've all been thirsty, but none of us has likely been without proper hydration for nearly a week, where our kidneys start to shut down, our blood thickens, and our brain starts to play tricks on us, causing us to hallucinate. The reason I avoided looking up any theological commentary related to this verse is because I reflected on the simple statement Jesus voiced. I thirst. Sometimes a few words say a lot. Jesus wept. That says a lot. I thirst says just as much. As I reflected on what it meant to thirst, I realized the statement signified a desire, a wanting, something more. I've been a Christian all my life, but I'm at the point in my walk with God where I do not desire, I do not want more commentary. I have no need for more intellectual knowledge, no need for more information related to the scripture. I have a lifetime of cognitive understanding of God. Now, it may be helpful for you to know that I love sports. I really, really love them. I love watching them. I love reading about them. I love talking about them. I love sports. But loving sports doesn't make me a good athlete. Talking about sports isn't the same as playing them. And that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to theology. Theology, at least as I see it presently, it's like watching and talking about sports. It isn't playing. The need for more intellectual talk about God is simply non-existent in my life. I don't hunger for it, and I sure don't thirst for it. And there it is, the essence of the word thirst. It indicates a desire for more. It says, this ain't over. I'm not done. Now, I don't know what Jesus was thinking on the cross. I told you, I avoided the commentaries that would have told me what he was thinking. I don't know what order he said those seven statements in. I don't know who heard them. I don't know why one writer wrote one down and not the other. I don't know why the only writer that included the one I was assigned to reflect on, I thirst, wrote that one down. I don't know any of that. But I do know that the word thirst indicates a desire for more. It indicates a lack of, a need. It doesn't take a theology degree to know why this story was recorded and admitted into this collection of stories that we call the Bible. Because in Jesus' most critical time of need, when he was at the end of a journey he surely doubted he had the energy to complete. And if you don't believe me, you don't believe that he thought that, let me remind you of the phrase, take this cup from me. But at this moment, Jesus said, I thirst. He was dying. He had nowhere to turn. He had no one to help him. He had nothing to hope for. Can you imagine? Have you ever felt the utter truth and the devastating weight of even one of those thoughts? I'm dying. I have nowhere to turn. I have no one who can help me. I have no hope. Yet in that moment, Jesus didn't say, well, screw this, I'm done. He didn't give the bird to everyone who was standing there watching him suffer. He didn't crack. He didn't snap. He expressed a desire for more. The week before Easter is known as Holy Week. It's a celebration of Jesus' last week as a human on earth. I think it's pretty safe to say that his last week was hell. Maybe you feel like you're living in hell. Maybe you wake up every morning and feel like you're dying. Maybe you go to bed at night with nowhere to turn. Maybe you have no one to help you. And maybe you have no hope. But if you thirst, I can relate. Thirst indicates a desire for more. The word itself entails a spirit of hope. If you thirst, I commend you. It means you haven't given up. In my faith journey, there are days I long to throw in the towel. It would be so much easier to say, I no longer believe. And I know I can't go back to the good old days of having a black and white faith, an in and out, an us and them, a right and wrong, a saved and unsaved kind of belief. So I'm stuck. Am I in? Am I out? Or do I thirst? If you aren't thirsty, then you're satisfied. So I guess I'll take thirst. Not always sure if I'm in, not always sure if I'm out, but I'm definitely sure that I thirst. I want more. I thirst.